Welcome to Bayou Time. I'm Jacob DeGate. On Wednesday, the Catholic Foundation of the South Louisiana celebrated the creation of the Sister Rosario Endowment for St. Lucy's Daycare with help from the St. Martin family. A ceremony was held to celebrate the endowment at St. Lucy Catholic Church.
Today is a very exciting day for the foundation, for St. Lucy's, and for Catholic Charities, but for most importantly, for the sweet children that y'all will see their faces here in a little while. While we're so appreciative of the amazing generosity, it warms my heart, but at the end of the day, it's about those babies and providing the option and the ability to have childcare for families who are in need. I would like to welcome Father PJ, our interim bishop, to come give us a prayer to start and say a few words.
Today is a very particularly beautiful day in which this man, Mike St. Martin, and those of his board who are present, his beautiful wife, are here to make an incredible statement without speaking words about it. The statement is that they believe that every child, regardless of origin or race, is a child of God and is entitled to be treated with the fullness of the dignity that all of us wish for ourselves as children of God. We are aware of the deprivation that goes with certain aspects of our society and our history. This man with Sister Rosario, over multiple years, went out of their way to declare that that was not acceptable. And so we grew the Lewis Infant Center, in which, in honor of his brother Lewis, who died tragically, Sister Rosario took possession with his guidance and his phenomenal financial support, and that of his wife, and the moral support as well. And now he has board members here who know what that all means. Went ahead to look after the most deprived, most rejected of babies first, and then small children. And the center grew. My job this morning is, first of all, for those who know about liturgy, I am not the bishop, and I'm not allowed to wear a cross. So this is not a bishop's cross. But in honor of the woman we're honoring this morning, Sister Rosario, this is her cross. The cross she wore, you saw it dangling around her neck so often. Sitting in front of me on my left-hand side are two of her sisters from the community, Sister Miriam Mitchell, known to some of you, who was here for years as our Chancellor and also Social Services, the precursor of Catholic Charities. She ran it with Rob Gorman and founded it, actually. And to her left, to my left, to her right, this little nun in the middle here is Sister Carmelita Mullery from Ireland and one of the Sisters of the Holy Spirit. She was the last working nun at the Lewis Infant Center with Sister Rosario. And Sister Carmelita is here to honor us and to bring the memory of Rosario to life by her very presence. When it came to emptying out the house when Rosario died, Sister Carmelita honored me as her friend from Ireland by giving me the cross. And I revere it, I hang it over my bed, and this is the first time I've ever worn it in public. Thank you for giving me such a privilege. I need to say a few words very quickly about who Sister Rosario was, since her name is being mentioned so much these days. To cut a long story short, in the 19th century, Ireland went through a thing called the famine. Starvation was rampant in the nation, and as a consequence of that, millions of people literally left for America on what we call coffin ships. Coffin ships because so many died en route. We emigrated at least 2 million people at that time. Sister Miriam, who's my sister-in-law, and her sister, and multiples from that area, including Sister Carmelita, all ended up coming over to San Antonio to join the Sisters of the Holy Ghost at 16 years of age. And so it was populated by these Irish women who ended up missioning to black communities, eventually with the Josephite fathers in a big way, which is very important too in the development, all across the Gulf Coast, over as far as Mobile, and all the way up through Louisiana. There were Sisters of the Holy Ghost and Josephite fathers with schools and community services all across that. Rosario was one of those nuns who came and began that mission. She then saw a desperate need to take care of black children here. And she also saw that there was an abandonment of children in some distressed families or dysfunctional families. And she began what is now known as the Lewis Infant Center, the Lewis Daycare Center first. And Mike St. Martin became a friend and then became a sponsor. and then became the instrument of allowing it to grow through major personal investment from himself and his company and his family. For that we are eternally grateful, and that's what we're here this morning, to continue a legacy that began with an Irish widow in San Antonio way back in 1888. And Rosario brought it right up to 2 years ago. And the fact that Sister Carmelita Mullery is here this morning is a beautiful testimony to the fact that although she herself is no longer in that ministry, she's here to say, may the ministry live, because it's the work of Jesus Christ, it's the work of God. And I want to thank you personally as a friend, and officially on behalf of the whole diocese, Mike, for your incredible, never-ending, always constant support of Sister Rosario, because it wasn't always easy. Rosario was a bit like himself. She could get her way when others couldn't, and she was not afraid to take on institutions, including the church, when the need arose. And for that, I have even greater admiration for her. With that said, thank you all for being here this morning.
I wanted to give you a little history of how this amazing gift came about. I'm often reminded that sometimes when good chapters close, there's always a bright beginning afterwards, and sometimes it's hard to see what that bright beginning may be without the involvement of multiple people. So when Paige called me several months ago and told me the unfortunate news about the Lewis Children's Infant Center having to shut their doors after many, many years of operation, serving the neediest of our children who just simply did not have a home to go to, number one, my heart was broken. But I knew that some way we had to keep Sister Rosario's name and her mission and vision alive, do something for her in the memory of Louis St. Martin and every single employee and worker that has ever put forth the energy, the prayers, the effort to impact children within our community. So Paige and I got to work, and we thought about all the different possibilities of what could be. And we sat with Mr. Mike and Paige and Roy, and y'all went back to your board with different options. And we came to the conclusion that if we wanted to continue to help children, the best thing for us to do is to look at a very strong model that already exists with St. Lucy's Daycare Center that supports, right now they have about 35 students. They have great capacity to continue to grow, but these are low-income students and families. If we want our families that are low income to still have the ability for their moms to go to work, to be stronger for their families, then we have to be able to provide childcare of some sort and nature. These kids they need to have a safe place to go, a secure place to go, where they know what God is and they know what love is. So how are we going to do that? Well, why don't we look at the cost of what it takes to educate a student? As a mom of 3 myself, I know what it costs for me to raise my child and send them to daycare. For St. Lucy's, it's still at a discounted rate at $105 a week, but that still can be quite unaffordable in the economy that we live today. So Mike, in his infinite wisdom, said, why don't we endow assets to support tuition assistance for children that attend the school at St. Lucy's, reducing their cost, making it affordable for their families, having access to care, and be able to sustain the ministry for our community, which is why we created the Sister Rosario St. Lucy's Children's Development Center Endowment to continue to provide tuition assistance for all the children that qualify and need assistance right here in Houma. It's our hopes that we can continue to grow this, to expand this, and to impact more students, not just this year, but next year and for years to come. Mike, Ginger, Paige, this is your legacy. This really, truly is your legacy. This is the legacy of Sister Rosario. For years, please know of my admiration and my desire as the foundation director to make sure that this succeeds, this grows, and that continues to impact our children in our community. They need us. These kids need us. They need a continued beacon of hope. They need Christ in their lives. And you are providing just that. So I have a small gift for you. So if you're anything like my husband, it's not about you, it's about your wife. Ginger, thank you for being the backbone and supporting Mr. Mike and letting him have a vision. I know it takes 2 to make the world go round. And Paige, that is a huge gift for you as well. And then we have a little small token of our appreciation for you as well, Mike and Paige, for you to open a little bit later.
Thank you.
And someone's very happy this morning.
My brother Louis was the namesake of the Lewis Infant Center. And the comical part of that was my brother was not a saint, but the local people got a bit confused about the name of our organization and started calling it St. Louis Children's Crisis Center. My brother came to me one day and said he was almost in tears. He was laughing so much. He says, they're calling the place the St. Louis. He said, it gets to him so much, he's laughing so often. Every time he hears someone refer to the place as the St. Louis, he says, Brother dear, you know better than I know. I ain't no saint. Look, one aspect of this celebration that you all don't know about, Paige doesn't know about, and she's the money person as well as Roy. We have established a fund to give scholarships to needy children from this area, especially to put them into nursing school and help them finish nursing school. A lot of them, and they are not all women, there are a number of male registered nurses, and they do great work. Those scholarships will be granted on an annual basis in the name of Sister Rosario. It's been done in the past by us, but for reasons, financial reasons, it was discontinued for a while, and now it's going to be funded for the long haul. The more nurses we can graduate locally, one of the requirements is going to be they'll have to put in some time working in this area as needed. So I'm happy to be here and to see Sister Rosario's sisters here. I didn't know they were going to be here. I couldn't be happier. Thank you so much for coming.
HTV's Martin False was able to catch up with some of the local leaders who helped develop this endowment.
Amy, when you held that check up.
It was heavy.
Yeah, and we had to put a wide-angle lens on it to get it. That's incredible, isn't it?
It is, but it's all because of the generosity of Mike, their board, and the community members that have honestly supported the Lewis Infant Center for years and years and years. So we could not do it without their support.
Something that's important, the money that we've given today to St. Lucy's to take care of the children, a lot of that, a great lot of that money was donated by local people here, sometimes in large sums, sometimes in small sums. There were some people, one of them, an old aunt of mine, for over 30 years, regular as the sun comes up. Yeah, we got a check from her every month. While the checks weren't really big, over the years, it became a lot of money. So this is not a me situation. there are hundreds of people throughout the area who've given money, and that's being invested in our community today. There are people who want to work but can't because of daycare costs. We'll fix that for them.
Miss Ginger, do you ever get used to it? You see this all the time, and you're so much involved in it. It just got to really make you feel good, doesn't it?
It does.
It's a heartfelt kind of thing, isn't it?
Yes, very much so.
Yeah,
And I'm
and-
glad he connected with the diocese.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful way to contribute.
Well, she's always a lady of few words, but we get the point, don't we?
Ginger is a powerhouse. God bless her. In many more importantly, Ginger is a woman who reminds me to say thank you to all those who support us with prayer. It's very important. A lot of donors have been very generous. A lot of volunteers have been wonderful. And an enormous amount of people have supported the project with prayer over all the years as well. But the dynamism and the vision and the incredible commitment of Sister Rosario saw it through at every stage and every phase, backed by Mr. Mike and the funding. She never gave up on the principle belief, which was every child deserves what I could get back in Ireland where I was raised. That was her philosophy all the time. If I had a good life, every child should have a good life. It was that simple. And she pursued that with vigor.
But I sense that Amy's doing a pretty good job in her position to see checks like that rolling through, huh?
I have said about Amy in front of many people, and I say it now for the record again. This woman on my right is such a blessing to our diocese and to so many other agencies as well.
And Mike, we'll give you the final word. This is going to help a lot of kids.
Yes, and I'm sure that Sister Rosario is smiling 24 hours a day because of it. These children deserve what they will get, and their family and their parents deserve it too. I think it's a big win for everyone.
What a day, a great day. Just going into classrooms and seeing all the kids getting excited, especially with Mike's dog that he brought in. But what's today mean to you?
Today was a very important day. I felt very phenomenal day. I was very overwhelmed, meaning excited. Great blessing to the children, both the children and the parents, and both our community also, and the parents as well. I'm just so excited.
It was such a generous donation, Shimon. When I saw him hold up the check, I was like, wow, that's incredible.
It is incredible, and it's going to give us the opportunity to expand our services, get more students in. We have a waiting list, and this would allow us to service the community in a greater capacity, so I'm excited about it.
So where's the money's going to go? What are they going to be used for?
The money is going to be used to help the children in the community as well as the parents with tuition and other things that have to be done around the school.
And it sort of frees them up to help pay their child care also, right?
It is a great incentive for them, for the parents and the child care.
There was a lot of excitement in the church a little while ago when the St. Martin's presented a very nice check, and that's going to go a long way, isn't it?
Oh, wow. The endowments are a basis that's basically lengthens and gives us a baseline for future growth of the organization. So what we get from that endowment will perpetuate the financing for the needed people that need extra help with their tuition.
And it also helps them with their tuition, but it allows the family to free up some child care bills that they may have. And when I was hearing the amount that child care cost today, I was like astonished. I said, it didn't cost that much a few years ago, but everything's elevated.
Right. There are some other programs with the state that may help facilitate some of the cost of it, but now with the price of food and people having to work 2 jobs with their families, or you have single family mothers or fathers that are raising their children, this subsidy is going to help with the cost of the food as well as the teachers and the salaries and the overhead.
For a person like you that y'all need endowments, y'all always looking for endowment. The St. Martin's, what a blessing.
Oh, it was more than what we expected. I started an endowment with the Catholic Foundation as well, but mine's a lot smaller than what that is, and knowing that we can perpetuate going forward without having to worry about income coming in, that's going to help us out a lot. Amy does a wonderful job trying to find those people who in their hearts have money that they can share from their family estates or whatever, and that'll perpetuate all the ministries for Catholic Charities.
Thank you for watching HTV. We'll be back with more right after the break.